Hello and welcome to the 49ers First and 10 podcast. 10 minutes of the most up-to-date 49ers news first thing in the morning. I'm your host, Brianna McDonald, and joining me is team reporter Lindsay Polares. We come to you after an awesome Sunday. We got to enjoy a Niners 16-10 win against the New Orleans Saints at Levi's Stadium with all of the faithful who came out for the preseason game. Lindsay, just how great is it to have football back?
It's amazing. And, this marks the very first Victory Monday of the 2024 season. It's a great way to just kick off the slate of games at Levi Stadium. This is the one and only preseason game that the 49ers are going to get to enjoy on their home field before the regular season, which starts on prime time Monday Night Football. So I think it was a great ramp up to what's coming in actually just a few short weeks.
Yep, all eyes are set on Monday Night Football at Levi Stadium. That is going to be so fun. But let's dive into yesterday's game. We saw a shuffle of quarterbacks under center yesterday, which is exactly what the preseason is for, getting to evaluate each player and performance and test some things out. Brock Purdy opened up the game, and then each other quarterback saw some playing time after him. Walk us through the performances of each Niners QB from yesterday.
Yeah, so for Brock Purdy, this is his first preseason outing. It was a very limited workload, 11 plays total. So he didn't play past the first quarter, and was also playing with an offensive line that will likely look different in the regular season. We heard earlier in the week, Aaron Banks actually suffered a broken pinky finger, so he underwent surgery. So he was out of the lineup. The starting rotation on that O-line had Jalen Moore at left tackle, Nick Zakelj at left guard, Jake Brendel at center, rookie Dominic Puni at right guard, and Colton McKivitz at right tackle. And in general, I would say the offense probably doesn't look exactly like what we'll see in week one. We still have to see who actually makes the 53-man roster. But right off the bat, we had George Kittle not suited up. And then we also had Jordan Mason, who's been taking a lot of preseason snaps. He was experiencing some hip soreness, also didn't suit up. And like I mentioned, Aaron Banks not there. So it's going to look a little bit different. So a limited workload for Brock Purdy. But he mentioned it was good to just start doing that football ramp up because week one's not too far away. And it was his first time this preseason getting a real pass rush because obviously in practice your own players aren't going to make contact with you. So this was, the full speed game reps that everyone wants to get during this preseason to make sure they're ready for the regular season.
And right after Brock Purdy, we also got to see Joshua Dobbs, Brandon Allen, and Tanner Mordecai. What are your takeaways from the shuffle of quarterbacks there?
Yeah, so wanted to explain the order a little bit. Head coach Kyle Shanahan talked about Brandon Allen getting the first snaps last week against the Titans. So he kind of switched up the order and then had Joshua Dobbs take the first snaps following Brock Purdy. I think we continue to see Josh Dobbs just settling into this offense. What we saw in Nashville last week was that it took him a little bit to get in the rhythm of the offense of that 49ers system. Really didn't waste any time on Sunday against the Saints. He led the 49ers to 3 scoring drives. And we saw something that we also saw last week, which was a scramble touchdown from him. He flipped into the end zone, and that was actually the 49ers' only touchdown of the night. So we got another Josh Dobbs take flight touchdown that I know the faithful really enjoyed. Then we saw Brandon Allen come in. He opened up the second half. He would have had a field goal scoring drive. Unfortunately, just had a kick that didn't make its way through the uprights. And then we also had a little bit of Tanner Mordecai action. He is the 49ers' 4th quarterback. He's had really limited reps during training camp, but similar to what we saw with Brock Purdy 2 years ago, head coach Kyle Shanahan said he's been very impressed with him. And it was great for him to get some game reps in this one. So solid showing by all the quarterbacks. And Shanahan also talked about how there's no decisions that have been made yet. They've still got one more preseason game. So we'll see how that quarterback room shakes out. We've got one more game left in that preseason.
Yeah, something I learned from this preseason slate so far is that Josh Dobbs loves to flip into the end zone. We saw it back to back already. But some of the most explosive plays from the night actually came to the defensive side of the ball. Could you highlight some players who really had a big game last night?
Yeah, I think the 49ers younger defensive players really made some big stops early. We'll start with second year safety Jair Brown. He is a guy that got starter experience at the tail end of last season after safety Talanoa Hufanga suffered a season ending ACL injury. So he's coming into this year a little bit ahead of the game, and you can really see that. He got things going on the second defensive series. Brought down Saints quarterback slash tight end slash multi-purpose player Taysom Hill in the backfield for a 1 yard tackle for loss. Then we saw rookie cornerback Bernardo Green also have a really nice pass breakup on a third and long passing attempt for New Orleans. And that actually helped the 49ers force the Saints into punts in back-to-back drives. Also wanted to highlight the play of linebacker Curtis Robinson. He's in his third season with the Niners, fourth overall, had a tackle for loss, and then a nice hit on Saints quarterback Spencer Rattler. It was actually like a PBU, then quarterback hit. We've continued to see him just grow and develop within this 49ers system. And he's a player that's been really highly talked about this training camp.
Yeah, and the 49ers' only takeaway of the night came from the D line. It was midway through the second quarter. Do you want to break down that play?
Yeah, we got to give Alex Barrett some spotlight here. Yeah, so he had a really fantastic play. So 8 yard sack of Spencer Rattler, actually stripped the ball and then also recovered the rock and was able to set the 49ers up in really great field position. They took over on the 38-yard line and then went on to score a 24-yard field goal on that drive. So huge defensive play, and like we, really the key to a lot of games is winning that turnover battle. So huge props to Alex Barrett.
All right, and you described the 49ers punting coverage team as having a quietly impressive night in your post-game Niners feed article. What stood out to you from the Niners special teams unit in last night's game?
Yeah, I feel like special teams never gets enough love, so I felt it was very important to highlight them. Great output by the 49ers punter, Presley Harvin III. Again, quietly impressive if you weren't looking for it, but if you're a big special teams person, he delivered 4 punts inside the 10-yard line. Super, super impressive. And then 3 of those punts were actually downed by 49ers special teamers in that spot. So Taylor Hawkins, Chase Lucas, Mason Pline, all able to down those. The 49ers were able to make sure that the Saints were really backed up on several of their drives. And I think that's something that maybe just doesn't get enough spotlight. So huge shout out to the special teamers in last night's game.
Definitely. And we've got now 2 preseason games in the books. Lindsay, I'm just curious to know who have been your favorite players to watch during this preseason slate?
Oh my gosh. That's a great question. I think I was really impressed yesterday. Jacob Cowing, wide receiver, 4th-round pick for the 49ers, got his first game reps because he was dealing with a hamstring issue for a lot of the training camp and preseason start. I thought he did really, really well last night, was involved in the passing game. And then also the 49ers gave him reps as a punt returner, and he looked like he belonged, right? I think with punt returning, it's very easy to get in your head and, not be sure of some of the decisions you make. Head coach Kyle Shanahan mentioned that he looked confident back there. So it's really great to see that in a young player. I continue to be impressed by some of the players that the 49ers drafted for their secondary. I know we mentioned Malik Mustafa pretty extensively in that first preseason game. Just a really physical tackler. That's something that the 49ers really pride themselves on. So again, to see that really early from a rookie player is great. Then Bernardo Green as well. They just seem to be seamlessly fitting into the 49ers defense. Obviously, they're rookies and there's plenty more football ahead of them as they, continue to grow and develop in this system. But I think those flashes early are really great for confidence building, and also just great to see that they've got it. And the 49ers are, picking the people that fit really well into their systems.
Amazing. Well, faithful, that will do it for today. Subscribe for more 49ers updates and turn on the notifications for any breaking news, Move the Chains episodes. Thanks for tuning in.